exposed my neighbor's lies at her own mother's memorial. She was gone before the service even ended. My grandmother is the kind of woman who bakes casseroles for strangers and remembers everyone's birthday. She cannot say no to anyone. If you need help, she is already at your door before you even finish asking. 2 years ago, my grandmother's best friend passed away. It broke her. So when her best friend's daughter moved into the apartment next door with her husband and 3 kids, my grandmother saw it as fate. I promised her mother I'd look after her, she told me. I noticed my grandmother writing in a little notebook every time she helps. Just keeping track, she says. I do not think much of it. At first, the arrangement seems sweet. My grandmother watches the kids for them on occasion, cooks extra dinners, buys the kids new shoes and clothes. I do not love how often the neighbor needs help and relies entirely on my grandmother's goodwill. But my grandmother is happy, so I stay out of it. However, I get a call from my grandma really late at night. Her voice is shaking, saying, "Please come over and help me." When I arrive, her living room looks destroyed. Beer bottles everywhere, cigarette burns on her couch. There are used condoms on the floor. I want to throw up. She explains the neighbors asked if they could use her apartment for a small birthday party. Just a few adults having adult time, they promised. My grandmother agreed and went next door to watch the kids. When my grandma came back, she found her home a disaster. I spend 4 hours cleaning up things no 80-year-old woman should have to see. Before I leave, I ask if the neighbor apologized. My grandmother gets quiet. She said I should be grateful because the kids keep me company. 2 months later is my grandmother's 85th birthday. Unfortunately, my job sends me out of town that week, so I gave the neighbor $300 and the instructions. Please do something special for my grandmother on her birthday. She nods. Of course, she's like family to us. When I come back from my trip, I take my grandmother out to eat. During dinner, I ask, "So, what did you do for your birthday?" My grandmother admits she spent it alone at home. She was hoping to spend it with the neighbors, but they weren't even home on her birthday. They took the kids to a theme park. I'm furious, but my grandmother just shakes her head and says, "She's going through a lot. Her mother died. Let it go." Now 2 years after her mom's death, the neighbor wants to finally hold a memorial for her mother and asks my grandmother to host. My grandmother, of course, agrees. I don't want my grandmother to get screwed over again, so I decide to be there. I walk in, and my stomach twists into a knot. The neighbor is having her son hand out printed programs. The picture is of the neighbor and her mother together. A donation box by the door says, "Help us through this difficult time." During the neighbor's speech, she dabs at dry eyes, saying, "I had to sacrifice so much to care for my mother when she got sick," which is strange because her mother was in a nursing home covered by her insurance for 2 years before she passed. Then she turns to my grandmother and gestures to the audience of memorial attendees. My mom's funeral costs were overwhelming. Could anyone please help? There's a donation area by the door, and it does take a MasterCard. I watch as my grandmother reaches for her purse, and I decide enough is enough. I step into the kitchen to speak to the neighbor and finally set some boundaries when I hear her on the phone. "Yeah, Mom's bank finally released the money to us. It had way more than we expected. We're finally booking that trip to Hawaii." My face goes hot, and my heart pounds so hard I can hear it. Then I see my grandmother filling out her checkbook, and I walk back into the living room. "Grandma, wait." She looks up at me. "Where's your notebook? The one you're always writing in." Her face goes pale. She shakes her head slightly, like she's begging me not to do this. "Please go get it," I say quietly. My grandmother hesitates, then slowly walks to her bedroom. She comes back holding the little notebook I've seen her scribbling in for years. She hands it to me without a word. I open it and see every date, every dollar, every meal, every hour of babysitting she has done for the neighbor is documented. I flip to the final page. In my grandmother's handwriting it says, "Total owed $120,842, and it's dated over 6 months ago. You want to talk about money?" I say loud enough for the whole room to hear. My grandmother has been keeping records. The room goes quiet. I hold up the notebook. The entire time this family has lived next door to my grandmother, she has given up $120,842 worth of her time and actual money. If anyone is owed money here, it's her. The neighbor looks panicked, running back into the room. She offered to help. That's what family does when someone is struggling. "Interesting," I say flatly, "because I just heard you say your mother left you plenty of money. So which is it?" She looks around for support, but her husband just grabs their kids and leaves. Guests are whispering, shaking their heads. She leaves without another word. My grandmother cries, finally admitting she was used. "Her mother would be so ashamed," she whispers.